Hey guys. Um so here we are. So we're going to continue with we left off on page 26. So yeah, we're two actually one two so actually no, we're close. We're like 4 pages away from reaching chapter 3. It is absolutely crucial that parenting adults learn how to offer loving discipline. Setting boundaries and teaching children how to set boundaries for themselves prior to misbehavior is an essential part of loving parenting. When parents start out disciplining children by using punishment, this becomes the pattern children will respond to. Loving parents work hard to discipline without punishment. This does not mean that they never punish, only that when they do punish, they choose punishments like timeouts or the taking away of privileges. They focus on teaching children how to be self disciplining and how to take responsibility for their actions. Since the vast majority of us were raised in households where punishment was deemed the primary, if not the only way to teach discipline, the fact that discipline can be taught without punishment surprises many people. One of the simplest ways children learn discipline is by learning how to be orderly in daily life, to clean up any messes they make. Just teaching a child to take responsibility for placing toys in the appropriate place after playtime is one way to teach responsibility and self discipline. Learning to clean up the mess made during playtime helps a child learn to be responsible, and they can learn from this practical act how to cope with emotional mess. Where their current television shows that actually modeled loving parenting, parents could learn these skills. Television shows orientated toward families often favorably represent children when they are overindulged, are disrespectful, or acting out. Often they behave in a more adult manner than the parents. What we see on television today actually, at best, models for us inappropriate behavior and, in worst case scenarios, unloving behaviors. A great example of this is a movie like Home Alone, which celebrates disobedience and violence. But television can portray caring, loving family interaction. There are whole generations of adults who talk nost- nostalgically about how they wanted their families to be like the fictive portraits of family life portrayed on Leave It to Beaver or My Three Sons. We desired our families to be like those we saw on the screen because we were witnessing love parenting, loving households, expressing to parents our desire to have families like the ones we saw on the screen. We were often told that the families were not realistic. The reality was, however, that parents who come from unloving homes have never learned how to love and cannot create loving home environments or seen them as realistic when watching them on television. The reality they are most familiar with and trust is the one they knew intimately. There was nothing utopian about the way problems were resolved on these shows. Parent and children discussion, critical reflection, and finding a way to make amends was usually the process by which misbehavior was addressed. On both shows, there was never just one parenting figure. Even though the mother was absent on My Three Sons, the lovable Uncle Charlie was a second parent. In a loving household where there are several parental caregivers, when a child feels one parent is being unjust, that child can appeal to another adult for meditation, understanding, or support. We live in a society where there are a growing number of single parents, female and male, but the individual parent can always choose a friend to be another parenting figure. However limited their interaction, this is why the categories of godmother and godfather are so crucial. When my best girlhood friend chose to have a child without a father in the household, I became the godmother, a second parenting figure. My friend's daughter turns to me to intervene if there is misunderstanding or miscommunication between her and her mom. Here's one small example. My adult friend had never received an allowance as a child and did not feel she had the available extra money to offer and an allowance to her daughter. She also believed her daughter would use all the money to buy sweets, telling me that her daughter was angry with her over this issue. She opened up the space for us to have a dialogue. I shared my belief that allowances are important ways to teach children discipline, boundaries, and working through desires versus needs. I knew enough about my friend's finances to challenge her insistence that she could not afford to pay a small allowance while simultaneously I can't say sim, simultaneously uh, encouraging her not to project the wrongs of her childhood onto the present. As to whether the daughter would buy candy, I suggested she give the allowance with a statement of hope that it would not be used for overindulgence and see what happened. It all worked out just fine. Happy to have an allowance, the daughter chose to save her money to buy things she thought were really important, and candy was not on this list. Had there not been another adult parenting figure involved, it might have taken these two a longer time to resolve their conflict, and unnecessary estrangement and wounding might have occurred. Significantly, love and respectful interaction between two adults exemplified for the daughter who was told about the discussion, ways of problem solving by revealing her willingness to accept criticism and her capacity to reflect on her behavior and change. The mother modeled for her daughter without losing dignity or authority. The recognition that parents are not always right until we began to see loving parenting in all walks of life in our culture. Many people will continue to believe we can only teach discipline through punishment, and that harsh punishment is an acceptable way to relate to children because children can initially offer affection or respond to affectionate care by returning it. It is often assumed that they know how to love and therefore do not need to learn the art of loving, while the will to love is present in very young children. They still need guidance in the ways of love. Grown ups provide that guidance. Love is as love does, and it is our responsibility to give children love. When we love children, we acknowledge by our every action that they are not property, that they have rights, that we respect and uphold their rights. Without justice, there can be no love. I gotta say that was really awesome. But we will continue with chapter three. Probably maybe this evening. But we'll finish. We'll go through chapter three. Um, but I am gonna say that was really good because that was something as a little kid. I mean, the thing is, abuse and neglect are so what they're referring to is that you can punish a child. Now, I obviously this is parenting. Obviously, this is loving parenting where your child acts out or misbehaves. You tell them to take a timeout, but you want to make sure that you're clear, that you're not yelling, or you're not using a tone your child doesn't like. Even though it is hard for a lot of people, not, I mean, I would say it's not that hard. I mean, I I would say for me there was definitely, I mean, there was timeouts, but I think parents that develop that really will consider that it's not really, it's not severe punishment. It's not whipping your tushy with a belt, or anything like that. Like, that's the thing. Parents might have, a lot of parents that have had traumatic backgrounds and settings probably had worse. But any parent out there that knows violence and being physically abused, neglected, is not the way to punish our children. If we want to call them out, if we want them to gain responsibilities, as they were saying in the book, making sure after playtime, meaning if your children decide, I'm going to play with, you make sure they clean their toys up and they go where they belong. I will say organized is something I still myself need to work on. I mean, I'm not even a kid anymore. I'm a young man, but still, it is something I definitely do need to develop. I mean, develop more of. I need to stay organized and really think about, because I will say I've been starting to get rid of stuff too. Things that I know I'm not gonna get around to do or enjoy. Because like for me, I play video games, and a lot of my friends, I mean, at least for me and my significant other, we both play video games. But if we don't I guess play game, if we have games that we may not get around to play, or if it's any like video game accessory that we won't get around to use, there's places you can trade things in. And what's good is like somewhere like Bull Moose allows you to either, get credit for what you bring in the store or cash. But obviously, the credit's more than the cash typically. So, I mean, that's the thing is, and the thing is, cash, I mean, is, I will say, I mean, whatever you want to do is fine, but like, the credit is going to stay. If you don't find something in the store, that credit isn't going to expire. You can use that whenever you go back, or you can use it at any other Bull Moose location. Meaning that, once, like for cash, if you do spend it, you spend all of it, you're not going to be able to get, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I would say credit's another shortcut but it's, you can save it. You can leave without spending any of your credit if you don't find anything in the store. And you don't have to either. You don't have to find something. I mean, that is your choice. That is, we're all, we all can decide what we want to do with things. But literally, like for me, I would not consider myself a hoarder, because really when I think of somebody who is a hoarder, they have things stacked up to a ceiling. And they have, everything all over the floor. You can't even get around places. That's what a hoarder is. Somebody that stores a crap ton of stuff, but it elevates to the ceiling. And that's the thing is, there's even a TV show about that. But I mean, Hoarders is a TV show where you will see people, I mean, it's, they'll get infestations with mice, rats, but some people just don't give, they don't care. They don't care. And But I will share that and a lot of people are hoarders because they want to hold on to things. I know one of those things. I had watched one where it was a wife and husband that and they had a baby. They had just had a baby, and the wife wanted to keep all of her belongings from her childhood. The stuffed animals, so she could pass them down to her to her daughter when she grew up. And her husband, I know, was, being a husband, he was telling her that I mean, the thing is that the more you hold on to stuff, the more you're not going to have room for stuff you might need or things to save up that you want. Because I've always gotten taught is if you want or you need something, get rid of what you already have, or at least get rid of things you're not going to use. You know you're never going to come back to. I mean, I understand if it's like pictures, I would say possibly expand your wall or get like a photo album, cuz I get it. Pictures from your family, are really important. Those are memories. But, that's the thing is if it's something that's like passed down by a family member that might have passed away, it makes sense to keep it because you're not just keeping it, but you were super close with that certain family member, whereas like they wanted you to have that piece of furniture or that houseware to put in your house or apartment. But I am not, I will say I am not somebody that weasels away, and I will say hoarding also, I will say if somebody is refusing to let people come in their house and help them, cuz on the TV show Hoarding, I mean, they have people come in and help those homeowners clean out their homes. They'll even bring in big dumpsters to throw stuff or put things in trash, because a lot of it is clothes, a lot of it's like wrappers, just all over the floor. And people hoard. I mean, actually, a lot of it, I will say, I mean, I wouldn't say this is a theory, but it's a fact that some people who do hoard were obviously in the service, meaning that they, were in wars like the Vietnam War, World War II. So the, items that, because sometimes hoarding is a way they cope of feeling um less, I guess, a word. I mean, obviously, yes, they obtain a diagnosis called PTSD, but I know a lot of people that come back from a war, they're traumatized. That's what they have. Um, but they get flashbacks of of that war they were in, of people. I mean, it's, obviously they're there watching people get hurt, get killed, get shot. But a lot of things occur after the war where somebody, or multiple people will start to collect things because that's their safe zone. That's where they feel kind of that more of like indulge, or really that enjoyment that comes along with not wanting to have PTSD. But they know they have it. But there is people that will take that as more as being protective of their home, and letting, and the thing is, I had watched one where it was, it was on the TV show Hoarders, but they got a call from, I think it was a neighbor concerned about a her neighbor. Actually, the neighbor had called the the people from the hoarding TV show and said her neighbor, it was an older man that served in World War II. But he had a lot of things in his house that were, that needed to be thrown out. Really, I mean, he kept a lot of things, and the thing is, he had an infant station in his house. There was, you couldn't walk through his house, but, and he was handicapped as well, so he would get around in one of those wheelchairs. But when they had showed up at his house to help him, to talk to him, he didn't want anything to do with him. I know, actually, watching that episode, it scared me because this guy had threatened that he was going to shoot anybody who entered his home to help him with his house. But unfortunately, this was one of the episodes where they could not help this guy or this older man, this, that, because I feel like a lot of that health and that trauma can affect somebody's soul enough to, if they don't recognize somebody, there's a response there. There's that response of, I don't know you. But this guy was clearly agitated, and it is understood why, these people, it's not they didn't want to help, they tried, because they came back the next day and tried speaking with him. But I'm going to say this, when it comes to somebody living in a, I guess, what would you call it, like hoarding based situation, you're either going to get things that are valid, or you're going to get things that are invalid, to the point where, so unfortunately, this guy did lose his house, and I'm pretty sure, went to jail as well because of the threats he made towards these people that were offering him so much help. But they wanted to do good, they wanted to help him and support him of however they could. But this man clearly didn't want anybody there. But unfortunately, there is consequences for that. It's not unfortunately, But when you threaten somebody or threaten a group of people that you're going to pull out your gun and open fire at your own house, it's very dark, and it's very there's consequences for that. And this man lost his house, and he went to jail for his threatening behavior. And the thing is, this was not a negative approach. These people did this for their job because they care enough about people who hoard. They care about those people who hoard because a lot of it is through depression, deep depression, or wanting things, I guess, to hold on to. But a lot of it sometimes is things hold on by your family. But I definitely will say, going back to the book here, um, as they were comparing about really how behavior should be taught with children is very important, because I could feed my kids someday everything I went through in my life, but you also have to think of the growth that your children will be doing, like how growth doesn't just build upon me or my significant other, but it's going to build off of them. They're going to achieve growth as everybody does, as the human race does. As of everything in life does. There's growth in everything, not just humans, but animals too. Evolution's a part of growth. I would say it's definitely advanced as growth, but it's still I mean, growth and evolution for me are two big words in Promo sapien and in animals. I use those two words a lot. Um, but I am gonna say that this book here is already teaching me. I mean, I know it's hard. I mean, I know a lot of the times I don't even listen to people I do love, but this book has real. I mean, I do listen to some people, but I think I should be definitely doing way more of the listening than the talking to certain folks. But I think this book has really helped me recognize that, and has helped me recognize I need to focus more on the mind, the body, and the soul of things than really what benefits what I mean, it's valid of what you want, and it's also valid of what you need. But I really like the focus of having this book really talk about the body, the soul, and the mind. Because when they talk about the body construct, I think of health. I think of good health. I think of balance. But I also think when they talk about the mind, there is the word balance, or the definition of balance, is in that part of the mind in a lot of ways. And the soul, the soul behind it is just feeling it, connecting with it. But let me show you guys those rocks now, or those stuff. See, again, I want to call them rocks, but I have to correct myself. But I showed you guys the black obsidian. These are other ones I got the other day. But so this is the tiger's eye. This one's a cool one. This is one of the few I picked out because I'm gonna read you guys about this one. So all these stones I am gonna try to find out and read to you guys, or at least tell you what they do in your within your body, your mind, and your soul. So this is called tiger's eye, I think. Tiger eye stone. Yep, that this is a tiger eye. So the tiger eye is a powerful chatuant gemstone. So these are all gemstones. But this one symbolizes strength, courage, protection, and confidence. Combining earth and sun energy, it grounds the user while boosting willpower, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Often used for manifesting, it enhances focus to overcome challenges, attracts luck, abundance, and wards off negative energy. But it says the core meanings and properties, protection and courage. Historically, Roman soldiers carried it for bravery in battle, and it is considered a protective talisman against malice, or threats. Confidence and power, connected to the solar plexus chakra, it increases personal power, willpower, and self-confidence. Balance and clarity. It balances yin yang energy, promoting calm, stable, and practical thinking. But there's different kinds of tiger eye gemstones. There's the golden tiger's eye, there's the red tiger's eye, which is also known as ox's eye. There's the blue tiger's eye, also known as hawk's eye. Grounding and stability. It helps in grounding scattered energy and providing security, aiding in making steady decisions. Prosperity, known as a stone of good luck, it used to attract wealth, abundance, and success in business. But this is a beautiful stone, but this is the tiger's eye right here. It's brown, it's definitely brown with different shades of brown, but it's a really good gemstone. Um, okay, so this is black onyx. So this guy here is black onyx. That's obsidian right there. So and then we got this guy here. This is, I think, the smoky quartz. Maybe not. So hang on, I'm gonna zoom it. So this guy is actually aptite, I think. So yeah, this is I think a patty, I think. Yeah, this looks like a patty. Not a patty, but a pot. Hmm. No. Wait, actually, this is what it is here. But that's more turquoise. I think this what I have in my hand is bloodstone. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, this is bloodstone. There's different kinds of bloodstone, but yeah, this is bloodstone meaning. So, bloodstone, the spiritual meaning, they're strongly associated with the root chakra, strengthening the foundation of self, promoting security and stability, and connecting to the physical body and its needs. But it says it will bring you protection and good luck as well as inner courage. Ancient Greeks and Romans used to wear original bloodstones as talismans or amulets to protect themselves from evil. They also believed that wearing it could give them courage and strength, so it would be beneficial for them in the battlefield. But it says, so this is actually a stone I might bring to program. But it says wearing bloodstone as a pendant, bracelet, left hand, or in your pocket supports energy, endurance, and emotional balance throughout the day. I've got a couple more. So I think this is smoky. I don't think so we have the bloodstone, the tiger's eye. So this one's a this is like a blue. Like almost actually this is might even be a turquoise. Oh shoot, I got my candle in here too. I'm gonna have to light this probably today at some point. I'm not gonna light it in here, I'm not but oh yeah, here was the other stone. This one's cool. This one I still need to figure out. And then we know what this guy is here. This is the black obsidian stone, which is my favorite. This looks like hawk's eye, but I don't think it is. It might be anthophyllite. Anthophyllite? Anthophyllite. it looks like a smoky quartz though to me. It could be a. So it does have a lot of healing properties. The anthophyllite, it's known for its fibrous and silky appearance and has been used for its healing properties in various cultures for centuries. Some of the healing properties attributed to anthophyllite includes its ability to aid in the treatment of respiratory ailments, promote healthy digestion, and support overall wellness. But this is more like a smoky quartz to me. Yeah, this is not a. So this is a dark smoky quartz. Dark. So this is not an dark quartz. Yep, it is a dark. So this is quartz. This is a smoky quartz. And let's look. So yeah, it's a so black smoky quartz is a variety of crystalline quartz, ranging from translucent smoky gray to opaque black, known as Morion, colored by natural gamma radiation, act, activating aluminum impurities with a. It's considered a powerful grounding stone associated with the root chakra, used to absorb negative energy, enhance emotional stability, and provide pain relief. It's often found in granite, pegments, and alpine fissures. But yeah, this is a smoky quartz right there. So we've got a couple more to go. Let's next up. We'll go with this guy. This is a black and white stone. So I'm gonna guess this is also maybe some sort of quartz, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's like amethysts, but we'll see. We'll see. So actually, this is a white quartz, maybe? White. Smoky. Oops. I think this might even be snowflake obsidian. Let's try that. No, it's. I don't think it is though. Look at that. How Yeah, this is not obsidian stone. Okay, so yeah, this is an onyx black and white, I think. Onyx black and white. Here it is. We have it. This is okay. This is a white quartz. So this is a quartz. This white and black one. So this is cool. So this is the so this is a stone that actually represents the balance between yin and yang energies, bringing about wholeness and harmony in your space. Tourmalated quartz combines the energies of clear quartz and black tourmaline to deflect a negative energy. There it is. Beautiful stone as well. We figured that out. Yeah, this is definitely turquoise. So yeah, this is definitely a turquoise. Yeah, this is. I think it's this guy here. But so let's see, turquoise gemstone meaning. So turquoise is an ancient gemstone prized for thousands of years as a powerful talisman of protection, wisdom, and good fortune. Known for its sky blue to green hues, it symbolizes healing, calm energy, and clear communication. It is a traditional December birthstone believed to bring prosperity, courage, and spiritual grounding. Protection and luck, historically worn to guard against evil, misfortune, and accidents, particularly in Native American and Persian traditions. Communication and creativity, associated with the throat chakra, it is thought to foster honest communication, self-expression, and artistic inspiration. Calm and healing, used to reduce stress and anxiety, fostering inner peace and emotional balance. connection to nature, known as a bridge between heaven and earth, offering a deep connection to the spiritual world. But there it is. So this, I'm pretty sure, is a red carnelian agate crystal. This is a really cool one too. Hopefully I'm right about that. It's definitely more of a charcoal. Yeah, red, orange, carnelian, agate, rough stone. And it is a quartz. I'm pretty sure, yeah. But it's really cool. But I'll finish the rest of these in a little bit. So I've got three more to show. It is a rough, unpolished variety of chalcedony, a microcrystalline quartz characterized by its vibrant orange to red color spectrum, often caused by iron oxide impurities. It says in its raw form, this stone typically displays waxy, translucent, or opaque characteristics, like frequently features concentric, delicate white, gray, or rust-colored banding. Um, but it says these guys are actually frequently found in areas of volcanic activity, with major sources including Brazil, Africa, and the United States. It boosts confidence, courage, and creativity while fostering emotional balance. It is primarily linked to the sacral and root chakras, helping to elevate anxiety, eliminate negative energy, and increase physical vitality. But anyways, guys, I'll do is we will talk about the other three in a little bit because I've got three more stones. But thank you all for watching.